This is Eagle Owl, and today we will be talking about Jalen Hurts getting back to business. Also, we're going to talk about a locker room problem that can't be fixed in Philadelphia. And lastly, we're going to talk about the new signees that are in Philadelphia. But let's get straight into it. All right, so let's talk about the roster moves the Eagles made. Signed the running back, Tyron Davis Price, and also offensive tackle, Darren Kennard, I believe that's the name. I look at it the same as the Julian O move that we made a couple weeks ago. It's guys that had potential in college, and no offense, they somewhat failed in the NFL. I mean, the running back that we signed, Tyron Davis Price, over 1,000 yards all through college. He goes to the 49ers, really couldn't get his foot in. The offensive tackle from the Chiefs, Darren Kennard, couldn't really get his footing going in Kansas City, and Kansas City decided to release him. Send him to Statler University. Maybe we can make him serviceable. So maybe Jeff Statler sees something there that he can fix. The running back feel like a more of a a roster bubble type ish move or a practice body type ish move. Or maybe he can make a name for himself. Maybe the 49ers didn't fit him. Maybe he needed a culture change. You just don't know. But these are the guys we're signing now. Obviously, it's not March yet, where still you see the big names like the Patrick Queens out there and this and that, or the safety that was just released from the Detroit Lions. So you don't see any big names yet. Look like the Eagles are just trying to fill their roster with guys that has potential, not just any old regular guy, guys that have potential. And these guys got potential. All right, so let's talk about Jalen Hurts, man. John McMullen wrote an article, and NFL Zach has something to say about Jalen Hurts in a positive way. Basically, Jalen Hurts getting back to business. And let's go over the quote that the NFL or former NFL exec had to say about Jalen Hurts. All right, so this is what the exec had to say. Jalen Hurts is a creature of habit. Everything you hear about his work ethic is true. And he got pulled in a million different directions last year, which is true. Um, Here we go. So we had the short off season anyway because of the Super Bowl, which is true. Then you had the contract stuff and endorsements. I think he understands it's time to get back to business. An anonymous former NFL exec on Jalen Hurts. I believe that is true. Jalen Hurts had to deal with a lot last season. Super Bowl coming up short, but it was still a short off season. A lot of moves made. You basically it was a complete brain drain of your offense. Then you got to focus on your personal life. You got endorsements. Now you got to negotiate with the Eagles, see how much they're going to pay you. And it was just a lot going on last year. And then the guys we decided to hire just was not ready. And Brian Johnson and these dudes. So Jalen Hurts probably going into this offseason with a totally different mindset. His endorsements are ready. He got a long off season because we got eliminated the first round. And I think he's getting back to work. He's getting back in the lab. And I believe the work ethic everybody say about Jalen Hurts is true as well. We've seen a complete 180 from one season to another and getting better and better and better each season. And he worked with what he can work with last season, which is pretty impressive when you look at it. To win 11 games with incompetent coaches is really good. That is really good. Believe it or not, no matter how we won it, yes, there was a collapse, but incompetent coach, non-creative coaches, and you win 11 games. Imagine just giving some creativity and stuff there. You can win 13, 14 games, even win a playoff game if you had a little competent from the coaches. Speaking of the players, let's get into the next topic. So Craig Carter, I gotta put this as a disclaimer. This dude is a big Giants fan. I mean a huge Giants fan. So he part of the Fox Sports Network, and they spoke about the Eagles and the the people he was working with were speaking positive about the Eagles. Like, Eagles still got the talent. They were saying like to win 13 games, this and that. Then Craig Carter had to chime in, was like, yo, there's something that can't be fixed and it's unfixable. I won't be surprised if a quote unquote superstar is not there next year. But let me go ahead and play this clip.
He's the quarterback I got for the last 2 months of this past season. Then the Eagles aren't even top five.
But how much do you blame on the OC?
I don't know. And that's because
the biggest question facing the Eagles is what do you know about what happened last season? What won't you tell?
I can tell you that it is a problem that would splinter any group of men. Any group of men. It is a real significant problem.
Yeah, I know
it cannot be fixed. I will tell you that.
It's like three things. Money, we the live. No, women. Women. Oh,
so I'm not going to tell you more than that. But I know what the problem was. I know they're trying to fix it, and I don't think it can be fixed. So it would be very interesting to see if a high-profile player is no longer with the Eagles going into this season. And by the way, maybe he will be, but I'll be interested to see if he is. All right.
Will you tell us as we go along?
I'll tell you.
Crumbs for us to check?
I'll give you a couple crumbs. Okay. Yeah, sure.
BS. I call BS. I'm calling it, man. I didn't hear anything about this. It didn't come from Philly media. It didn't come from the national media. The problem was, as far as what we know, is what the players and the coaches, not players on players or something that's unfixable. He's just throwing stuff out there. I believe AJ Brown will be here. They said it. There's no way he's getting traded. Jalen Hurts is going to be here. Devontae Smith, contract or not, is going to be here. Who's the big name player? Maybe Hassan Reddick is the big name player. I don't think it's because something happened in the locker room between the players that are unfixable. I think it's something like, well, it's just contract and how he's going to get paid as far as Hassan Reddick. But a big name player just not being here? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Right? AJ Brown just came out like, yo, it's a new season. It's hunting. It's hunting season now. So I don't know where he's getting this from. He just pulled stuff out of his behind. I don't think there was any problems with the players on players. I think it was just players versus coaches, like civil war, and Nick Sirianni was just trying to do the best that he can with what he had. That's why he made the move for us, the defensive coordinator. Offensive coordinator, we was too deep into the season to make a move, a drastic move on the offensive side. And even if Brian Johnson was to get fired middle of the season, who's going to come in and be the offensive coordinator? You can't come out with a whole new scheme. And Nick Sirianni's not the best play caller himself. So what is Craig Carlton talking about? You're a Giants fan, stay in Giants business. Now, if you was going to be a hater, be a hater. Be like, man, them dudes are going to suck, this and that. I would have respect that than coming out with a lie saying that there's something in the locker room unfixable. You won't be surprised if a superstar is gone. I don't believe it. I think it's BS. I think he's just talking to stir things up. Hell, he might have said that just for ratings. Because nobody talk about Craig Carlton until he come out with a BS clickbaitable statement. That's clickbait. That's clickbait. So please stop it. Please stop the BS. Because whatever you said is just simply not true. Never heard of it. Never heard of it. But hey, man, what do you think and how do you feel about the news today? Craig Carlton again. Is he speaking facts? Do you actually believe this guy? I don't. I think he's talking some BS, trying to stir things up. It's the off season. It's not really the biggest headlines out there in football. And I think he's just trying to get the biggest headlines. Also, Jalen Hurts getting back to business. Do you believe it? Do you believe you're going to see a different Jalen Hurts from last season? I do, especially with a play caller like Kellen Moore and the new signees we made. I'm not mad at the new signees. I'm not overexcited, but these are guys that just simply have potential. Because again, you just never know. You never know. You get a guy opportunity, new scenery. Maybe he can excel. Maybe the offensive tackle we signed can be serviceable. Maybe the running back we signed can do a little thing or two. You just never know. But this is Eagle Al, man. Come on.